In this example, we've got 4 share option schemes. We have the number of outstanding options in column E. We have the weighted average exercise prices set out in the following column. And then we've got a bit of information about the current share price, the offer premium, and the offer price of $4.68. So we're working on the assumption that this is an M&A situation, and we're going to work out the dilution on these share options. We're going to do it through a couple of different methods in following videos, but this one is the gross method. I think it gives us the clearest information of what the movements are on the share options. Now, before we even start on the calculation, what we're going to work on is the assumption that you have a share option. I'm going to take over your company, and in taking over your company, I'm going to offer you $4.68, and you have share options that can be expressed at, exercised at $3.34, $3.89, $4.14, and $4.89. Now, obviously, the option at $4.89 has no worth. You would not exercise an option that gives you the right to buy a share at $4.89 because I'm only offering you $4.68. It's not worth you actually exercising that share. But what I want to work out is what are the actual impacts of doing this transaction? Well, in theory, I guess, if I were to buy out 1 share option from you and you hold that share option in scheme 1, I'm going to ask you to pay £3.34. Right, you give me that cash, and in reaction to that, I will give you a share worth $4.68 in terms of the offer price. So there are 2 impacts there. There are cash proceeds received on the exercise of share options, and there is going to be a transfer of equity value to you. And it's that impact that we're going to try and think about when we work on the share option dilution. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work out whether the share options are in the money or out of the money. And I'm going to use a very simple little if statement here. And the if statement's going to say, well, if that number there is less than the offer price, because this is an M&A situation, what I'm going to do is say comma 1, comma 0. Now, all I've done in these cells is I've made 1s look like yeses and 0s look like nos. So if I press that, it says the share option is in the money. If I want to have a quick look at the formatting there, what you can see is I've just made the positive numbers say yes, negative numbers, we're never going to get them, nil numbers, we're going to say no, the share options are out of the money. And what we've got there are, again, I just need to check my dollarizing. I need to dollarize my F5, copy that down, and what we should have is share options are in the money, in the money, in the money, out of the money. Pretty obvious when we've got 4 share options there. If we had, 20 share option buckets, it's nice to have these little formulas in there. And that makes it very easy for me to work out, well, how many share options do I have that are in the money? And all I'm going to do here is the 740 multiplied by yes. But yes is a number 1. The no is a 0. So what we have is a very simple calculation that says, when we get down to scheme 4, 206 multiplied by 0, no, gives us 0. So I can work out now, I suppose, the number of in the money options that I will need to buy out if this deal transacts at £4.68p. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work out, well, what's the impact going to be? I mean, we've got a couple of impacts here. First thing I want to work out, well, what are the cash proceeds that I'm going to receive from my option holders? Well, each option holder is going to have to buy out, for each option holder, I'm going to buy out the number of in-the-money share options. So we have 740 share options here. And I'm going to give them a share, but that share option holder is going to have to pay to exercise the share option. And it's going to have to pay the exercise price. And we've got a weighted average exercise price here, and that is giving me an estimate of how much cash I'm going to get in from those share option holders. They're going to pay me $2,472. Copy that down. And then what I've got there is I can work out another little subtotal. Now this subtotal here, again, if I copy this across, let's make it nice and neat. What I have are the cash proceeds from the exercise of the in-the-money share options. Quite a mouthful, but that is the cash proceeds I'm going to get from the option exercise. And that is one part of the impact of the share option dilution I might have to take into consideration when I look at my valuation. I'm thinking net debt here, so if I've got more cash, My net debt's going to be reduced. It's going to have an impact on my EV. It's going to have an impact on my equity value. We'll have to consider what that impact is when we look at the valuations. Now, the other impact is going to be we're going to have new shares in issue. So, number of new shares in issue. So, the impact on, let's say, market cap. Well, the impact on market cap is we have 740 million new shares. Let's just work on the assumption the share price hits the offer price of 468. So this could be the impact on market cap. It could be the impact on the amount of the amount that we need to buy out for this company. Well, the market cap is going to increase as well. So again, I've not dollarized that very well. Let me copy that down. And there we have the impact on the market cap. Nice little subtotal there. And what we will go on to look at in further videos is, well, what would that impact be on the EV overall? All right, the cash proceeds, does that increase the EV or decrease it? What happens to the market cap? Does that increase the EV or decrease it? But ultimately, we've isolated the two impacts of doing this calculation. We've got the gross method. We've got the, which separates out the cash proceeds and the market cap impact as well. And we can see the two impacts nice and clearly, nice and separately.